at a glance, you ask me who am I, I'll tell you I'm a premium value creator.
That the human being needs to be put at the center of what we are doing. The idea of being a premium value creator, where is it coming from? Could you tell me more about that?
I bring premium value to the table. I had to start positioning myself now, not as a busybody. I don't like eye service, but making myself relevant.
How do you really define the value that you bring to the table?
So I define the value based on my own value.
Could you also let the people understand some of the things that they need to do in order to shift their mindset from maybe the state of I am not good enough to I can do it. This is for me.
The first thing is self-awareness. I am Alaseidiema Atedoghu. I'm a Nigerian from the southern part of Nigeria. I've been working in the corporate space for over 15 years here. Okay, I transitioned from being in the operations to admin, now I'm back to operations. Aside that, I work. I love to teach, so I mentor people. So even in the office space, I have a monthly session with interns. I work in an IT firm, and we have a lot of interns come in and go every month. And the past 1 year, I had to create a space where I engage the interns on a monthly session so that besides the fact that they came to intern, they should also be able to get certain life values. Now, these interns come from different parts of the world, as in different backgrounds in terms of family, religion, and all that. And so in order to make them understand that, hey, life has to be balanced, to make also some of them understand that it's not about who my parents are, it's about me having a footing. I had to start that session. And good thing, when I first introduced it to my boss, he was like, fine, you can go on with it. The initial plan was for my boss to handle it because he loves also talking to interns. But he said, no, all good. You can take them once in a while, I can step in. So when I started that session with interns, I realized that there is more that can be done. And so at a glance, you ask me who am I, I'll tell you I'm a premium value creator. And that's because you get in contact with me, you get value, not just value, but premium value, because I would not want to leave you the same way you met me. And so for everybody that comes around me, there's something that sparks growth in them. And that's why, again, I'm a growth catalyst. So you come in contact with me within a period, you have to grow because your mindset will shift from the norm to something better. So for instance, I will ask you, you don't come and tell me that somebody is a thief. And I will ask you, the person stole or the person is a thief. So that you don't have that mindset of always wanting to label somebody. You don't have that mindset of that it will not be good. It has to be good. Something has to shift. So I'm a premium value creator, I'm a growth catalyst. And because I've worked in the corporate space for over 15 years. I'm a productivity.
All right.
I'm a productivity strategist. So sometimes people look at me and say, how do you meet your target? Because you can come to my screen and I'm playing game, right? To relieve myself. And next thing you're asking for a report and I'm giving a report. I said, because I've been able to manage my time and all those things. I've been able to know at what point I'll be productive and I've utilized the time. My energy management is high. And so basically, that is it about me.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Productivity is something that is important today. I remember we were in an event. I was invited to speak on an event a couple of days ago. That should be last week. Last week. And it was all about productivity. And I would say that it is very important that while we are concentrated on productivity, which is getting more out of what we are doing, that it is very important that today we also care about the people that we are serving within the industry. that the human being need to be put at the center of what we are doing. And I think when you were making mention of productivity, that is actually what was coming up to my mind. But now I'm sort of wondering, the idea of be a premium value creator,
Creator.
where is it coming from? Could you tell me more about that?
Okay. I work in a space where there are a lot of guys. Okay, so where I work prior to this time is considered a man's industry because I work in in an IT firm. It's considered a man's industry. So most times they are talking and they're making reference to this is a technical company, the technical company, the technical company. And I sat down one day and I asked myself, even though it's a technical company, I am here. So what can I do differently? What can I bring to the table? So when I asked myself that question, what can I do differently? I had to start putting certain things in place. I had to start positioning myself now, not as a busybody. I don't like eye service, but making myself relevant. And so when I got into the admin space, I had to come up with a lot of processes, a lot of structures, and a lot of other things. I had to push for trainings and all those things. And so by the time those things were beginning to play out, hey, I realized that you're premium, your value is premium. You're doing things differently. And that was how the idea of being a premium value creator came about. And because I also realized again that when I talk value. When I'm relating with somebody, the person will get something out of it, something good out of it. And so then one of those days, one of my bosses was talking and he was like, he'll be a premium value, he's a premium value creator. I said, okay, if you're a premium value creator, me, I'm a premium value creator, and we laughed about it. So that statement of his validated somehow, or made that my PVC to stick. And ever then, I can't talk without saying that I bring premium value to the table.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And how do you really define the value that you bring to the table?
How do I define the value? So I define the value based on my own values. And what are my values? My value is trust. Trust. So each time I think of trust, and the arrow in the trust is resourcefulness. So when you're able to come to me and I am resourceful, I'm able to do certain things for you, and you're able to get results, that's the value for me. So each time I talk about myself, I also refer to myself that I'm a hub. I'm a hub. So that's the premium, that's the value. I am a hub. So I might not be the one exactly to do the thing, but I can get coerce and get people around to achieve that thing. And because I'm a hub, that's the value inside it. And at the end of the day, the outcome, the result is premium.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Are you also into how do I call it? Being a connector in the sense of going out to look for the right people to do the right job, or is it that the people look for you because they heard of what you have done? Could you say something more about that?
So it's both ways. It's both ways. I look for people for me to be a hub, for me to bring premium value. Yeah, I look for people. Then some other times, people actually come to me. People help me. So, for instance, a colleague of mine invited me to minister in their youth group, right? I ministered, okay, is it ministry? Okay, for those of us that are Christians, we call it ministry. But I talked to their youth, but it wasn't so much of a religious whatever. I talked and I left. And another time, he came again and said, some other, now it was the bigger part of the whatever that were there were like, bring that woman, it was like which woman, and so they made reference to me. So in other times, what I'm saying is that other times people come, other times I go look for people to, but most of the times people come because I have I have something to offer, something valuable. That's the word.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for that. You were also talking about shift before, no? A kind of shifting of mindset. So I wanted to know if you could say something more about that in terms of how do you embark on that process of helping someone to shift a mindset? Because I think that is going to be very important now.
Okay, so by my personality, I'm an introvert. I I'm okay, maybe because I'm an introvert. I happen to also be among the youngest crowd, and I used to have this feeling of I don't have anything to offer. I sincerely used to have that feeling as though I'm not good enough. So most times I almost will not come out, even when I have the opportunity to come out. And by the time by the time I grew up and I began to understand self-awareness, I realized that that thought of that I'm not good enough was a hindrance. Because then growing up academically, I was not poor. I was not doing badly. And so I had to put all these pieces together. If you have never failed academically, you have almost always been amongst the first 5, the first 10 in your class. As an undergraduate, you did well. So why should you still be thinking that you're not good enough? By the time I understood all those things, I had to work on myself to shift my mind from the negative to the positive. And so having suffered that, if I have to use that word, having gone through that, I like to make people understand that we can be our own limitation. And how can we be our own limitation? It's in our mind. We thought of that we're not good enough, we're not brilliant, we're not whatever. So I can tell you, okay, you did not carry first, yes, well, you shall pass. So you are good, you can pass. That's how the thing of shifting the mind came up. So it came as a result of my own self, my own limitation, in thinking that, I can't do it. It's not my type that does it. No, it's not my whatever. Before this time, I won't come on this podcast. Now, not because I'm a shy person, but because I will just tell myself that it's not my type that goes there. Honest, I'm telling you the honest truth. So the shyness was there, the introvertedness was there, but that feeling of not being good enough was strong. I won't have come before this time. In fact, as you start that discussion with me, I won't take the discussion further. You will just realize that I will be mute and I'm not saying anything to you. It wasn't just about being shy. It was also about not being good enough. That was where that mind shift came from. When I became self-aware, I knew that a lot of people might be suffering it, so self-sabotage and all of those things.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that sharing. But could you also let the people understand some of the things that they need to do in order to shift their mindset from maybe the state of I'm not good enough to I can do it. This is for me.
Okay, like I said, in my own case, I had to be self-aware. So the first thing is self-awareness. When we need to come to that point of realization that this is what is keeping us. That self-awareness is one thing. What do you do when you become self-aware? You need to learn. You need to upskill. I had to do series of training in terms of mind shifts and all that. I had to upskill. I had to learn to be around supportive people that can tell me that you're doing well. Now, not people that will pamper the issue, but in the midst of the feedback of you didn't do well in this area, you did well in this area, you would have done better if you had done it this and that. So I use that as an example. Before we started, I told you that camera is not my thing. And immediately, that's the solution you gave to me. Forget the camera, kind of stuck. So you need to be around people that even when they know your weakness, they won't label you with your weakness, but they can encourage you. So having a supportive community is very, very good. Then on your own, you need to work on yourself. What you tell yourself, because those thoughts of I'm not good enough will keep coming. Will you accommodate it? Me, I like to say, will you now build a house for those thoughts? Or you tell those thoughts that, yeah, I know I failed in the past, but I can try. And I will keep trying until I will get it. So basically, self-awareness, upskilling, being around supportive people, and you always, for every time you think that you're not good enough, you counter it with a positive thought. So some people will call it affirmation. Yeah, I do a lot of affirmation. I do a lot of journaling. I like to be, I think, and I think this and that thing that we should do. I like to be accountable. So who are you accountable to? Who can you tell me to watch me and what? Before I came up, I had to tell a colleague of mine, hey, I'm going live. And they were like, go, you can do it and all that. They even helped me to set up and all that. I have to be accountable to that. So I'm going to do something and then I will give feedback. And I will expect feedback for better improvement. So it will take me also to the point of people, a lot of people have come to discover that peer feedback. They don't want people to tell them the truth exactly. They want people to pamper the truth. But I think that we should get to the point where people will be able to tell you that in this area, no, you didn't do well, you should have done better, you can do better, and all of those. So feedback, we should be open to receiving feedback.
Thank you so much for that. I really think that is important. That is fundamentally important. Because if we don't accept feedback now, we are not going to grow. Growth is something that comes if we keep moving towards a particular direction. Because you take one step at a time. If you take two of them, you will fall. All right. So tell me something more in the sense of there are some people who remain in their comfort zone, and sometimes they know that where they are is not good enough for them, but they don't make the move. They remain there. Of course, sometimes they don't know the larger people. Sometimes they don't know that where they are is not where they're supposed to be. So they sort of they keep feeling themselves the same information that okay, I'm not good enough, I cannot move out of here. But what I really want to ask is why are people in their comfort zone, a place that they are not supposed to be, but they remain there and not able to move? Is there anything you can say about that?
Comfort zone, most people are in their comfort zone because they see it like in our local parlance, they will say that the one who are home, I do my own. So this is where I have strength. This is where I should remain. They say this is the way they say it also in this place. The devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. And because the comfort zone, I want to liken it to the devil you know. And so it makes them not to expand. It makes them not to explore. I used to be in that category. Where I beg, keep me in this place where I can be safe. I will almost not make mistake. So because we almost not want to make mistake, we stay in a particular place, not knowing that that place is a limitation. That place is not allowing for growth. That's why people stay in their comfort zone, so that they won't make mistake. They fear being vulnerable. They fear being looked down on. So they are there. They won't make mistake. They won't be vulnerable. But the danger of being in that space is that they won't explore. They won't find new opportunities. And worse off, if they try to move and they fail, they will just come back and sit in that place, comfort zone, and not move out. So I think basically that is why. So I'm coming from my perspective. This one that I have mastered, let me just keep to this one that I have mastered. Like if I shift, somebody will know that I have weakness in this and that and that and that. So that's what I have to say. But it's not a good place to stay. It's not a good place to stay. is a limitation.
Yeah, yes, all right. It's not a good place to stay, because that is not what life was supposed to be. All right. Now, you are talking to people who are hearing about you. They want to learn. So, what would you recommend to them are some of the steps for them to be able to move from their limitation to where they can be of a higher value? Because you are the one who provide higher value to individual. So, what do you think they should do? Kind of, they do this, then after that they do this, then after that they do the kind of a recommendation for them. What do you say?
Okay, so first let's understand the fact that when somebody have stayed in the comfort zone for long, the tendency of the person coming out might be high. So one of the things to do is to acknowledge where the person is at that time. Acknowledge the fact that this person is there, this person is comfortable there. Acknowledge that place. Then bring the person to self-awareness. Now, let me go back to acknowledgement. Why I talked about acknowledgement is because if you don't acknowledge the state of the person at that point in time, it's easy for the person to build a wall. You might not be able to penetrate the person. So if you come and say, you must leave this place, you must go out, the person can put up resistance. But when you acknowledge the fact that, I know where you are at, it's good you are here, you have gotten to this point, you've acknowledged it, the person is relaxed. Then you tell the person that, you know that if you do X, Y, Z, it can result to X, Y, Z, or talk to the person, then you bring the person to the point of self-awareness. Okay, I have other potentials, I have other things I can do, and all of those things. When that person gets to the point again of in all of this discussion, self-awareness is key, because it is you that will move towards liberation. No matter how much somebody wants to liberate you, if you are not aware to the point that you need to be liberated, the person might not be able to liberate you. So when you take the person to the point of self-awareness, you take the person through the mind shift. What can the person do differently? You begin to educate the person. You begin to talk to the person. You begin to mentor the person, coach where you have to, counsel where you have to, create support for the person where you have to. But I like to say that don't make the person live your life. Because most times when we want to move people to be more, it's as though we want them to be us. No. In as much as you might also be the person's role model, it's not to encourage the person to live your life. It's to encourage the person to live the person's life. It's not also to downplay the person, because people can fall. And I tell people, when you fall or when you fail forward. At the point the person falls, should the person remain there? No, the person should stand up, dust him or herself, and move on. And even you have seen somebody falling, is it that you laugh at the person? Oh no, you don't laugh at the person. You encourage the person to stand up and pick up from wherever the person has fallen from. So you fall, you get up, you continue. It is a process. It is not a destination. It is a journey. So we are all work in progress. Even me that is saying that I'm a premium value creator, there are premium value creators, a lot of them out there that are higher than me. So it's a work in progress. We are all progressing. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's not something that is one-off. That's why you fall, you get up, you learn the lessons, and you continue. You meet another block, you come back, you learn the lesson, and you continue. That way you're arming yourself to be better. You're also equipping yourself to be able to guide another person to do well, but not to also live the person's life. The same way the other person should not live your life, you too shouldn't live another person's life.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate you for that. Now, why do you think people are finding challenging to be able to move in their life, to be able to move to a higher level? Because since we are talking about mindset here, I think that makes sense to a lot of people as to what might be holding them back where they are.
One of the strong things that can hold somebody back is background. So you look at your family, for instance, and there's a pattern in the family, and you think that you're not the one that should come and break the pattern. You're from a family, it might not be your parents, but you live. So, okay, let me take background this time to also the environment, probably where we grow up, so childhood. So, childhood, they've told you that nobody in this family or nobody in this street or nobody in this community have dared that. And so you feel that because nobody has dared to do that, you shouldn't be the one that should dare to do it. You're not asking why nobody has done it. You're not asking if anything happens. You too have just come to say that, no, nobody has done it, so we won't do it. So our background in terms of childhood is, if not properly tackled, is what is limiting a good number of us. I'm talking because of where I'm from, the southern part of Nigeria. I'm the southern part of Nigeria, the riverine part of the southern Nigeria, where they think of so many mermaid things and so many of all those things and so many of all those things. So you're coming out and nobody is explaining to you why it is like that. You don't even know where it's coming from, and nobody wants to take the risk of doing it. Everybody just is there, waiting for one day that one Messiah will come, not realizing that you can be the Messiah that will come and change the pattern and challenge the status quo and change the status quo. So most times our background, childhood, is a strong influence to why we are not shifting grounds.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. The background is really very important because I remember, for example, the book that was written by Napoleon Hill called the Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill was talking about at the point inside the book what is described as the mass psychology, the psychology of where you live or the psychology of the people around you, that it affects you. Which is to say, if you live in a particular environment that is a way that people behave, the only way it cannot affect you is if you don't mingle with them. If you mingle with them, no matter how strong you are, it's just a question of time. It's going to affect you. That is why also maybe people say often that if you have 5 friends, if these 5 friends have a certain behavior, or maybe 4 friends, you will exhibit the 5th part of it. Because you cannot ignore it. It is impossible. We are human beings. There are the way that we behave. It is so strong that it is impossible for us to resist certain behavior. Maybe in the beginning it might be you might say, "No, I will never do that. No, I will never do that." But the best thing to do is to not mingle, because if you mingle with a behavior that you don't like, you will one day come to exhibit that particular behavior. So I think this is very important, what you're saying there about the environment. The environment can influence us. We need to be really, really careful of the kind of friends we associate with, because they will come to influence what we do. So thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. Now, for people that want to learn from you, they want to connect with you, what is the best way to reach out to you?
I'm on LinkedIn. Then Instagram, so they can connect with me via my LinkedIn handle or Instagram handle. They can send me DMs. Basically, that is it. Social media.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Now, what would be your final thought here? What maybe that is a message you wanted to say, or you wanted to leave with people with that they ask you. So yeah, please go ahead and share the message to conclude the conversation.
My final thought is that okay, I like to say this. It's not a good English, but I like to say it. You cannot be youer than you. So you are you. Yeah, it's not a good English word. It's like saying that you are you. Be you. Do not be somebody else. You can learn from somebody. You can be mentored by somebody. You can role model somebody, but be you. In being you, do not expect it to be automatic, because that's why again people give up, because they think that I want to change this habit, and so in split seconds the habit should change. It is gradual. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It is a journey. It is not a destination. So when you see it as that, you will know that every day you can progress. So it's progress over being perfect. You progress, you get better every day. So don't give up, even when it is like it's tiring, it's overwhelming. Know that you can be you. It has to be progressive. It doesn't have to be automatic. And you take it one step at a time, one day at a time, whether you're navigating your personal challenges or whether you're seeking or striving to unlock new levels. Just take it one day at a time. Progress over perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. This has really been a very interesting conversation. Yeah, it's supposed to be hard. People need to know that it's supposed to be hard. Life is supposed to be hard. That is how we get the value out of it. Because if it's just cheap, like you get it on the platter of gold, you will never understand the value. But when it is hard, it means you have paid the price for it. Anything that do not have a price, we also do not value. So people that want something out of their life, something reasonable, substantial, they must understand that it's supposed to be hard. And it is good also that they look out for people like you who are helping them to straighten up their life, so that they need to work on shifting the mindset. That is why they need you, because it is hard. It is not easy. Because if it were easy, everybody can do it on their own. But you can't do it on your own. You need somebody, you need some information outside of you to come to disturb the water inside of you that, no. Now you turn around and say, okay, I need to move a different direction. It's not very easy. That is the truth. So thank you so much. I appreciate the time and the sharing here. It's really, really valuable. I appreciate you, sister. Thank you.
Thank you so much.